All right, we believe there is a statement now from the Australian High Commissioner in India in the light of these recent attacks on Indians. Let's listen in.
Okay. I was asked to come into the Ministry of External Affairs to discuss the recent attacks on Indian students in Australia. Mr. Ravi, the Secretary East, conveyed Indian concerns very clearly and very much urged that we take steps to ensure that students are better briefed about conditions in Australia and to ensure that these sorts of incidents not occur again. We totally share the perspective of the Government of India on the abhorrence of these sorts of attacks, and we condemn them. In the last 48 hours, statements have been made by the Premier, that's the Chief Minister of the state of Victoria, by the Foreign Minister and by the Deputy Prime Minister who is also Minister of Education, clearly condemning the attacks in Australia and undertaking a number of measures which we hope will diminish the prospect of such attacks taking place in the future. But the discussion which the Indian Ministry of External Affairs had with me was absolutely understandable and absolutely justified, and I undertook to convey their views to the authorities in Australia.
High Commissioner, one of the Australian police authorities yesterday mentioned that these are opportunistic crimes, but here it's being seen as racial attacks.
Well, I think it's all too easy to jump to conclusions as to what causes a crime. But some cases robbery was involved. In some cases it is not clear that they were racist attacks. My own view is that it was clear criminal activity. I have not seen the evidence that they were racist, but I wasn't there. I wouldn't discount it. Some racism exists in Australia. It's appalling. We condemn it, but we have to face up to the fact. Australia is a multicultural society. We go to great lengths to avoid racism in our society, and we're rather proud of our record. So it's very difficult to make a clear judgment, but I would see that opportunism probably was one aspect of what has happened.
What's heartening is there's been unequivocal condemnation from all levels of the Australian government.
That's right.
Specifically, what kind of measures are being taken to improve security for Indian students on campuses, around where they live, etc.?
Well, I think there are a number of measures that are being looked at right now by the Victorian government and by the federal government, which will include input from the tertiary educational institutes and the students themselves, and of course the police, to improve security of students. But the police are very actively pursuing those responsible for all these incidents, and as you will know, a number of arrests have been made.
High Commissioner, I believe the Foreign Minister, Mr. S. M. Krishna, today spoke to your Prime Minister, Mr. Kevin Rudd. Could you fill in us with any of the
Foreign
details?
Minister was scheduled to speak to your Foreign Minister was scheduled to speak to ours today, and that conversation will have taken place, but I was in the ministry while it would have occurred.
Do you want to ask a final question? Do you concede that some of these attacks have actually damaged Australia's reputation as a welcoming country?
I think it will be very clear that we have work to do to ensure that Australia's reputation holds firm.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.